Let's see if this is going to pull up. It's been a while since I've used this program or this software. So we're going to see if there's live streaming will work and the chat will work. We're using the Restream platform at the moment, and I'm testing out to see if the chat will work. I've been preparing for another video, but I had to do a little work earlier, so I lost my train of thought on a couple things. I broke my camera lens, so the autofocus isn't working right now. That's why it could be a little bit blurry sometimes. Looks like the chat isn't popping up, but it says streaming. Okay. You closed a dockable window. Docs. Okay. Let me see if I can reset docs. Are you sure you want to reset the UI? Will hide additional docs. If you want them to be visible. I'm gonna go ahead and reset them. Okay. I could go to Facebook. But I'm gonna go. Oh, here it is. Dot. Chat is one. There it is. Okay, it's working now. And then we want to put stats. What stats? Oh, that popped up over there. Let's see. Stream information. Stream channel. Oh, that's just the title. Okay, we don't really need that. What's the stats on? Okay, that means that I am live. Okay. For sure. Let me move this over here. I'm working with this small screen over here, so okay. Looks like it's working. Let's see if I can type something in the chat. Am I able to mention other platforms when I'm live? I know a lot of people are at work or just getting off of work or on lunch break. So when I used to go live, it would be random times anyway. This is basically whenever I have energy or something to say, I would just record. I would use this live platform as a recording board because they would save the video and you can always record it if you want it later and edit it. But Facebook started deleting their live videos after 30 days, I think, which is good. Because a lot of the videos do end up clogging up server space and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm in the studio right now, and whenever we go live in the studio, or maybe even in the future, I might go live and record videos on the next topic. There's a AC on, and there's some noise, background noise that you might hear, so I'm kind of testing that out. A lot of the times, the preparation it takes to go live is just sometimes exhausting. That I mean, record, and it's so exhausting that I just don't end up doing it. So sometimes going live might be easier, and we can just post, edit some videos. But it's usually having to come up with a subject or a topic, and I try to stay on, what is it, on a certain timeline or like a theme or a series, but usually that's not how life works. And sometimes I'm trying to channel other people or trying to channel my cycles of my life. I believe we all live our lives in a 24-hour cycle. So um, it's kind of like the numbers and how life works, and just sleep patterns and eating patterns. Everything is always on a cycle. And if you realize it, it's always on a 24-hour cycle. So keep that one number in mind. Keep that in your head, that you can always do something different within this next 24 hours and within this next moment if you really needed to or you wanted to. Um, there's no reason to doubt yourself and put yourself into the future or even the past to bring about some type of chaos or misunderstanding. We bring about chaos through entropy, and it's a part of science. So let me check this mic real quick. I might be over here not even being able to be heard. Yeah. Okay, we're good. So entropy is a part of science, and chaos is a part of science. I talk about this in the family series, especially because a lot of families have lots of chaos, lots of turmoil, and I realize that it's not only me, it's not only a male, it's not only my generation, it's all life, it's all life in general. Technically, the cycle, what I'm talking about, it's a sort of emotion, but I call it vibrations or frequency. Everything has a certain amount of frequency, and all life technically goes through the same amount of frequencies at different times and in different levels. And that's what makes it different for that perspective, because we're only having the now. But when you are able to see multi perceptions or perspectives, then you can have everything. That means that you can have all frequencies and see them all at once, or see them all as the same, because they are in essence, it's all a frequency of love. And we go through love in different ways, and we have that presence in our life and are only able to express it or receive it or understand it in that particular way at that moment. And so it could look crazy and it could sound crazy, even me thinking about it, because a lot of people don't have that experience where they're able to see everything at once. So if you are, is what I'm trying to say, and if you do, because I believe we all go through it in different times of our lives. We all go through an awakening moment where we can see multi perceptions, or we can come out of our body and see the future or the past, whatever it may be. But that's where time comes into it. And we have to, it tricks us, and it makes us, sometimes think that we're going crazy or we're having an illusion. Or for me, it felt like I was in like a time loop, stuck in the same type of environment and the same pattern of thinking, and I would have never been able to get out if I wasn't able to receive this type of truth. and understanding to be able to break out of that bubble of fear, of doubt, of lack, and of just anger and hate towards society, the world, the government, my past, even myself, especially, and I would just take it out on the people around me. So I had to figure that out, and it wasn't always just me. It wasn't actually epigenetics. So it was something that was embedded into my DNA almost. And in order to change the way I was thinking, I had to recreate or regenerate my DNA. And that's where I built this program, because when you find this truth or this understanding, and it's only an experiential thing, I'm just giving you the best words I could at my moment of what I'm going through in my life. Because, like I said, with vision opposites, we're always speaking to ourselves no matter what. Even when I'm talking to you right now, I'm talking to myself through whatever's coming up in my body and in my emotions. That's what I'm able to speak out. Sometimes, like I've told others, I can attempt to channel and attempt to be where you're at in your life through what do I call it, um not circumstance or coincidence, but through, what's the word, I know it's with the C. Um, not connection. A lot of the times I'll get blanked like that, and that's why I can't also do videos. I'll just like whoop. I'll just mine will go blank sometimes, but this one will come back to me because I use this one quite a bit. But it's not coherent. It's not. But it's the way I used to put it. Like if you break a bone in your foot, you'll know what it's like to break a bone in your hand, because you're limited by a limb on one limb, or you're limited by an exterior limb, whatever you call it. But it's the same way, like for male, female, life, death. There's always a multi perspective, and you can correlate. That's what it was, through correlation. So you can correlate everything with something else. And this is what I mean by signs, not envision opposites. Sometimes you're not getting it for you, you're getting it for someone else, and you're vice versa. So and when it, and it's funny because I said it's always for you, but you become that person, and that person becomes a lesson for you in the future, technically. So as you're going through life, God or the human consciousness or cosmic consciousness, sorry, is constantly speaking through the environment to us to do our job for the future of humanity, of life itself, for us and for our own evolution. Like I said, after we leave this planet, we technically kind of, I look at it kind of like a hologram coming into a flesh, but it's also like birth itself. You're being reborn into a higher evolution of life, and you'll be able to see, similar to all other animals, where we can see what happened, but they can't really see us in a perceptive that we know can give us the total grasp. That's why even us at the highest level of spirituality, we can only see a limited amount of it in totality, and even to be able to explain it. So it would be like a fish explaining what a human is to their buddies, their fish buddies. It's almost impossible because they all seen humans, but they can't explain what a human is to each other. So we've all seen God, but it'll be almost impossible for us to each explain what God is, and that's why religion is very important and belief systems are super important, is because when you get to the highest level of each one, it's really up to you with science, with everything. And that's where we have the the technologies, the capabilities to spread these truths and be able to find them out almost instantly, all at once, if we wanted to. And this is why I'm coming on here doing these little live videos or these little long form podcasts, these little reels on TikTok, in order for anybody to hear it and wake up to the truth. I don't have the chat up right now, but hopefully, and I don't have any know what's going on. I'm going to be able to look at that in the future. Sorry, I'm just constantly looking down because I am trying to see and trying to hear anybody who's coming through. Um, that's really the best way for me to be able to help somebody is at that moment, because then I can channel where I was in their moment, you know. And it's better to do it one on one. That's why I like, and I used to want to do it with males, but then I realized about the correlation effect and everything, the law of correspondence. That's another one. But there's so many dimensions and laws now that I don't usually give like too much credit to a lot of people that I've learned it from, because it's my theory is that we all get it from everything. All of our life experiences builds our own philosophy, and I truly believe everybody needs to have their own philosophy, their own theory, their own. It could be for them, their family, themselves, their whatever it might be, but they should always attempt to adopt something that is mostly internal and mostly self-experiential before. I mean, not before, but after maybe they have studied um, as many, things that are around them to be able to pick up on life itself. And maybe a lot of people weren't like me, that were very confused and constantly dealing with ups and downs and um, not knowing exactly what is going on, and not even caring at most of the time. But but coming to the point where life was, life was very, very grim and dim for me. And then, not even wanting to live at a certain point, from being atheist, I thought that it was just complete darkness, whenever a person died, at, for a long time actually. But I did more studies, and a lot of it was stuff that brought me close to death. And I had we'll talk about a lot of my experiences with death and near death experiences and um, all that before I even saw the light. So that's the reason why I thought, because before I actually saw the light, I had almost died several times, and I had never seen God, heaven. I thought I saw, if anything, I thought I saw darkness and death, and that was because it never stopped. The cycle that I had was bringing me all this pain had never stopped, and I thought it would never stop until I I did these spiritual practices and went back to look for something, and then found God through meditation, through fasting, and through deep exploration of my past, and that was one of the hardest things from a baby, and that's when I realized, because I had a bad memory, smoked marijuana a lot, but I realized at that point the body itself never forgets anything, and if we really want to, we can search the body. That's where the memory is held. And then I realized it's not only in the body, it's actually in the atmosphere. So everywhere you go, you're picking up memory through the body, through the mycelium network, through the atmosphere, through the water. So it was all this stuff that I had to bring about in my program to figure it out. And it wasn't, I had no scientific backing at that time. It was just life experiences and realizing these are the only things that are natural that I'm doing to be able to process this information and to know all this stuff. I'm not really on Google and all that much at that point, but after that, I'm all over Google trying to make sure that what I was, even all these words that were popping into my head, I had to figure out exactly every word, not from, I almost got, I called it amnesia, because after that, I couldn't remember anything. I couldn't tie my shoe, make an egg, nothing for a few weeks until it started coming back to me. But after that, I said, I'm going left-handed, right-handed. I'm going to learn everything. If anything ever happens to me, I'm going to know it for sure, for true. And it took us 7 more years to figure out all this stuff and look up every word in the dictionary that came into my head. Not every word, of course, but every one that came into my head. That's all that I needed to know. I didn't really worry about the world at that point. Then I realized that I'm picking up everything from the world no matter what. So technically, I am the world, and whatever I receive comes from the cosmic consciousness, which is everyone in the past. That's where my theory came up, where we all share the same DNA, and it's in the drop of blood, or it's in every drop of water. Technically, 13 billion years of history, and now it could be longer. So this is just scientific stuff that I have on my courses, spiritualabsoluteness.com. Nothing made up from my head, all from scientific stuff that was placed as a download into my brain through the cosmic consciousness or water enlightenment. And you can receive it through different induced ways, but you're going to receive it through life itself. Life gives it to you, and it's our only purpose. As we breathe, we're kind of going through it, and every 24 hours you're going through something very similar. And hopefully it doesn't make you mad, it doesn't make you angry or crazy, and you can get through it just like I did. Okay, this is a live video, and I'm not doing any type of recording right now. This is no joke. All right, I'm giving you everything for free on my platforms. And if you have any questions, drop them down below. If you need to hit me up on the DM, I got my phone back up and running. We're going to get some new equipment. We're trying to land down some sponsors, put them guys up below on the video, some global sponsors, hopefully, that we can help reach more people and change the company. If anything, I'm also a brand developer, so we do behavioral branding in companies with ATXWD. We're doing extreme behavioral branding now, and that's what I've always wanted to do from when I first started my own business in lawn care and landscaping, was build a brand that meant something to the environment, meant something to myself. And I realized that everybody should be doing this in their own life, building the brand that means something to them, and it's not really about spirituality. That's why my topics have nothing to do with spirituality, but the underlying force in everything is going to be spiritual. We're spiritual beings. We're soul bodies, and we're going to be inhabited. We're going to be having a void, rather. We're going to be manipulated. We're going to be influenced, and our soul, the hole in our soul and our void is going to get bigger and bigger. Okay. So we want to be able to come back to our spirit and not just be the human soul. All right. We got a lot of things going on with many different businesses and people around Austin. So we hope that you stay tuned to that on my other business pages, ATX Web Developer, ATXWD, and a Spiritual Absoluteness. These communities are going to be active. They're going to be growing in this next couple months. We're utilizing the help of AI in the highest form, and we're also looking for people that want to get trained and help us out in the community with video editing, with landing sponsors. If you have any equipment or anything that might be helpful for us, we hope that you let us know as well, because that's going to land you in our top sponsors position for at least the first few months, because giving back and helping people is what I'm all about. And a lot of the times, like with my web developing stuff, I was all about helping and giving back, and seeing what we can bring towards each other and get out to the community. So let's do this again. Let's continue and get back to our roots. Do this stuff real big for 2026. We're coming up on the middle of it. But that's what it's all about. I need to learn some of the rules of these live platforms. I don't want to get banned, especially this one. But I think I'm gonna start going live on TikTok, and that will be good. And YouTube. I feel like YouTube will be the best one. I'm live on YouTube, right? Oh, can I even say that? Well, let's see if I can say the platforms at least. I know Instagram will be good. I don't know if I'm live. No, I'm not live on Instagram. This video should be up for the next 30 days, I believe. So you can chop it up and edit it. If you can do that, send it back or put it on your channel. See how much views you can get. Right now, I'm up to like 40,000 views. For some reason, it's going up and down from 37 to 38 and 39. But give me a couple weeks as we start to go live. We're gonna do more videos that are gonna be recorded, going to be put on what is it? Stories, reels, basically anything we can create to get a little bit more traction without having to do any paid advertisement. One of the um, things about paid advertisement is that you're kind of pushing yourself onto people that might not be ready for this. So if we create an algorithm that it pushes it to people who are ready, then our community can grow stronger that way. And we also don't need to waste any money from our sponsors. If all the money can go back into our community or channel, then that will be the best thing for us. And we believe in doing it the right way. I have websites and all that. And we do have Google AdSense on a couple of them, and we are working with Google to run some in the future with ours. But I don't see it happening anytime soon, so I'm not going to rush that process. And we just want to do everything organic if possible. I believe 30 minutes for a live is good. How long have I been on now? I can test this out. I did get quite a bit out within the first 15 minutes, so go back and check it out. Especially my team. See if you can record any of that. I mean, download any of that. I am. Let's see if I can record this last little bit and come up with a little topic. Okay. Let me record. So I have to be off the head because business is actually I put business into my topic because it was after the first two, which is love, which is family, love, business. And I did this because when I went through my life, I realized that I kind of got into my business for a certain reason and then realized everybody's gets pushed into a business for their certain reason. And the businesses they have shows a lot about their past. It shows their future, and it's a lot of it is technically with especially with AI, it's going to be changing and it's going to be an identity thing. So a lot of it had to do with labels. When I realized labels and words, all the words are emotions as well. Every word you hear creates a certain emotion, and that's what a lot of it is manipulating. And if you don't have that understanding of love base is a perspective, then you're not able to come back to your own love based place, you know. And some people actually thrive on anger, some people thrive on hate, some people thrive, and that's you can't put yourself in their place or tell them they're not living with love or they're not okay because that's not you, you know. And that's where a lot of opposites attract, that you may see that sometimes. But they're both living from the same place of love. They just not able to say it the same way, you know. And business is what gives us that label, that identity, that of who we are. I'm looking down at myself, by the way. I have my OBS on. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm doing the live recording. I'm also looking down at the chat, but I when I record, I normally look at the front of you and look directly at the camera. But love, like in business, it's they're right after each other, you know, because people end up loving their business as much as they love their family sometimes, or their life. And that's what actually happened to me. I um you know, thought that was everything to me, and when I got injured and I got hurt, and then I had to change careers, and it was just tough. Like life became different, you know, and life became something meaningless for a while. Then I had to find my own meaning back. So I threw business in there so that way you can understand that it doesn't really matter what you do with your career, with your life, with how much money you make. It matters in a lot. This is so cliche, but it matters more about how you feel, and how I put it in this mental state. If you can go into this flow state, this is what actually creates, and it's very close to sleeping. So sleeping and this are very closely connected on how you end up getting into this thought pattern and process. You have to have a healthy sleep pattern. But it's, I believe it's theta or beta. I think it's theta, but anyways, it could be whatever, but it's a state of mind where you lose track of time doing something that you love really, really passionately. And for me, it has changed over the years, so it's never been one thing, but um it's been steady, you know, and it's always been coming back to the same things. And whatever it is that you do, doesn't matter at the time of your life. Just do it to where you feel like you're in this flow state. Time doesn't matter, and life is super meaningful. If you don't not making money at the time, find something maybe that might help you to make money on the side, but always have this other thing that you're passionate about, and try to find passion in what does make you money at this time as well. That's going to help you out, because everything we do is always an experience, a life lesson. What I wanted to do when I was young was try to do everything in order to learn as much as I could. For me, it was about more with my hands and more with working outside, so that way I can do anything that a man was supposed to do. Then I realized, well, now it's technology and now it's everything. So I had to kind of adapt, and a lot of it I learned off YouTube. I don't know if I could say that word still, but it is an amazing thing. I am on YouTube streaming live, and I am on Facebook using Restream right now. The platform is free. They let me use it for two people. They also give a 30-day trial. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna probably end up buying or paying for this subscription in order to stream to 3 more platforms, if not more, if possible, unless I can find another way. But that's the goal here, is to keep active on these platforms and these streaming channels, so that way if anybody is going through anything at the moment or has questions throughout the rest of this year, wants to join any one of our programs, that would be amazing. We really, really could use the support and just use the love. I believe just giving back is what my thing is all about, and in the form of knowledge. Anybody who is not learning, not going through an experience, that wants to challenge themselves, it's kind of, they're not being the best that they could, in my opinion. So if you want to reach your full or highest potential, put your mind to the challenge, put your body to the challenge, and do something a little bit more difficult each day. You know, something that you didn't want to do the day before. It doesn't have to be somebody else, what somebody else said. It should be something that your spirit says, that's challenging your consciousness, that you're challenging your mind, and that's what's going to make you feel better. All right, guys, I put correlate on the whiteboard, and we're going to put frequency up here. That was what I wanted to talk about, frequency and emotions. Oops. And we're going to talk about that in our next topic. We're going to go into purpose, then we're going to go into business, I believe. We'll jump back in around to family and love after a while. Leave a comment if there's one that you want to talk about, like love or family. All right. That'll be amazing. If not, we're just going to skip those two and go straight into business because that's the time of year that I'm feeling needs it the most. And that's what I'm doing. So peace out. We'll see you on the next one.